Hola, buenos días. Hoy es día 77 of 100 Days of Spanish. Soy Ruth. Y hoy I want to give you some really 5-star phrases that you can use en la conversación en español. I also want to tell you un poco about mi vida personal that I hope will help you con un poco de español when you're feeling a little bit estresado. Y finalmente, if you stay hasta el final, I'll tell you how to defender your right, tu derecho de descansar. And that's, I'm going to tell you how to defend your right to relax. So stay until hasta el final for that español that I hope is going to be muy útil para ti. Right, let's start. The word you know is sabes. So I always think of Jack Sparrow, sabes. And what is que? And I think of Manuel, que? So, you know what? Do you know what? How will you say that? Es fácil. ¿Sabes qué? I'm going to continuar with un poco de vocabulario. If I'm going to tell you a story, I'm going to use the verb contar because it's like recounting, contar. So if I'm going to tell you, it's going to be contarte. So I want to tell you will be quiero contarte. Now there is nice. It's just one little sound. I. And if you want to say there is a lot, well, you could say hay mucho. But if you want to say there's so much, that's a different word. It's tanto. It's a nice word. So put it in your vocabulario if it's new for you. So how would you say there is so much? Hay tanto. There's so much I want to tell you. Hay tanto que quiero contarte. And then build it up even a bit more and say, do you know what? There's so much I want to tell you. So you could imagine using that when you want to introducir your noticias or your gossip, your chisme. How would you say it? ¿Sabes qué? Hay tanto que quiero contarte. So the first thing, la primera cosa que quiero contarte es un poco sobre mi vida, un poco de información sobre mi vida. Okay, next week you could say la próxima semana, but they prefer, or I prefer anyway, yo prefiero, the coming week, which is the week that comes en español, la semana que viene. Okay? And to go back, you could say regresar, but I don't really like it. No me gusta mucho. Yo prefiero volver, okay? So, vuelvo, for me, para mí, is better than regreso. But that's a matter of personal taste. Gusto personal, okay? So how would you say, next week, I go back? And you could say that if you were talking to somebody de vacaciones, couldn't you? La semana que viene vuelvo. Now I work in a high school and one of the words for high school is el instituto. As if all the children are being institutionalized. So el instituto. So how would you say, next week I go back to high school? It might be a nightmare for you. Para mí es mi vida. La semana que viene vuelvo al instituto. Now, we've been in a time, I've been recording these videos in a time of confinamiento because of el COVID-19. See? So, the word for after is después de. Lots of sounds in it. Después de. So how do you say, next week I'm going back to high school after COVID-19? It's like this. La semana que viene vuelvo al instituto después de COVID-19. And I think that we're going to talk about COVID-19 for quite a few years porque el impacto es enorme, mundial. See, el impacto mundial es enorme. So you need to know COVID-19. And para mí, bueno, I'm worried. They don't say I'm worried so much, they say I'm preoccupied. That's how they say it in español. So I'm preoccupied is me preocupa. I think that's useful vocabulary. Me preocupa. Me preocupa porque la semana que viene vuelvo al instituto después del COVID-19. Now, sabes is you know. I know is yo sé. And I don't know is yo no sé. Yo no sé, no sé. No sé. No sé cómo. I don't know how. And I'm going to is voy a. Okay, so I'm going to organize will be voy a organizar. So, no sé cómo voy a organizar mi tiempo. So I'm worried because I don't know how I'm going to organize my time. Will be the whole thing complete. No sé cómo voy a organizar mi tiempo. Me preocupo. So what I'm saying to myself, and I hope that this could be something that's really useful para ti, is don't worry, and to say that, no te preocupes. No te preocupes. No te preocupes. And everything will be fine is todo estará bien. And it's nice to get un poco de ritmo, and it's something that you can repeat to yourself. No te preocupes. Todo estará bien. I can't say it, but you can. No te preocupes. Todo estará bien. Okay? Repetir, repetir, repetir. La segunda cosa que quiero contarte de mi vida es que siento means I feel. It's interesting because lo siento is a way to say I'm sorry, I feel it. Lo siento, I feel it. So siento, and the word for tired is cansada if you're a woman, or cansado if you're a man, and it's a useful word to express how you're feeling. So siento cansada, or estoy cansada. And this brings me on to one of the most beautiful words en español, un descanso, because cansada is tired, so a relax or a break is un descanso, and it gets rid of your tiredness, and that's why I love it. See? Or the verb is descansar, and it's like to untire. I like it. You must like that. Un descanso. So, yo siento que necesito un descanso. And this brings me to a video that I watched by Dan Hall last week, and it was 12 mistakes that Spanish language learners make. And I want to focus on this one. He said that when you feel like quitting, have a break. Now, I don't feel like quitting. I love making mis videos for 100 Days of Spanish. Pero es importante para mí que todos los videos que hago son buenos, en mi opinión. All right, I can't control what the rest of the world thinks, but as long as yo pienso que están bien, estoy contenta con mis videos. Y para mí, no es posible hacer videos que me gustan mucho si siento cansada. Entonces, and now I'm coming to phrases that you can use to defend your right to have a rest. Entonces, quiero tomar un descanso de 2 días. Para mí es una idea buena. Cuando estás cansado, toma un descanso por 2 días. And then come back. Vuelve. Renovada. ¿Sí? Voy a volver. I'm going to come back. Voy a volver. Renovada. En 2 días. I hope that you've learned some of el vocabulario. I forgot to say at the start of el video. Toma notas. Escribe notas. Escribir ayuda la memoria. But if you haven't taken notes, you can go over to spanglishfantastico.com and on día 77 you can read mis notas for today. If you like it, well, one of the words that I like is to share. So it's compartir, and it sounds like con, which is with, and partir, which is to break up, no? So compartir is not to break up, but to share. Compartir el video. Por favor, subscribe. Y vuelve mañana, vuelve en 2 días después de un descanso. Y voy a presentar un poco más de español para ti. Muchas gracias por mirar. Hasta mañana o hasta la próxima. Adiós.